Today, I'm going to talk about closing costs. Closing costs is one of the biggest surprises that the home buyers go through in the process of purchasing a house. Today, I will break it down exactly and step by step what it is. Now, think of closing costs as the cost of borrowing you money, the cost of lending you money. Yes, it costs money to lend you money. Now, closing costs are like your administration fees, are like your legal fees or financial fees, that the financial cost, that the lender or you pay the bank to process your loan. Now, it's also important that you get the clarity what closing costs are not. Closing costs are not in any way part of your down payment. You bring closing costs at the closing table over and above your down payment. Now, how much is the closing cost? So closing costs is usually between 2% to 5%. For example, if you are buying a house of 400,000, you will need to bring closing cost of 8,000, anywhere between 8,000 to 20,000, depending on the type of loan and your lender. Now, what exactly go inside the closing costs? One is the loan origination fee, which is basically the processing fee. This, you can call it paperwork. Number two is the underwriter or application fee. So when a lender has gotten your application, he passes it through to the underwriter, who determines how much or if you even given that loan. So the underwriter decides, and there's a fee for that. The next thing is your credit score. Yes, it costs your lenders to pull down that report. So that is part of the cost. The next thing is the appraisal. So appraisal, which is basically the determining the cost or the value of the house. And if you do not know what appraisal is, please watch my other video. I explained it step by step and clearly what it is. So that cost is also included in the closing costs. The next is discount points. So discount points is the same as buying down interest rates. So if you don't know what buying down interest rate is, watch my other video where I talked about buying down interest rates. Very important. It's an optional. It's not necessarily that you get your discount points included in your closing costs, but I highly advise that your realtor buys you down your interest rates if they are high. Now, the next thing is title and title insurance. Now, the bank that loans you the money wants to ensure that the property that they are loaning the money for has no title issues, and the title has no clouds or disputes on it. And if at all there's any dispute, they want to make sure that there's insurance to cover them, so that they will not have any issue on the title of the house. The next thing is the escrow fees. So what is escrow? So escrow is the third party that is brought in the transaction to help handle the funds and the transaction, and they take you all the way from the to closing. They handle all that to make sure that the whole process is flawless. Last but not least is prepaid or prepaid items, or any utilities that probably the buyer has paid in advance. So this will include things like homeowners insurance or homeowners association, or electricity or internet, or things that the buyer has already paid ahead of time. So they will be prorated, and as a buyer you will be required to reimburse the seller for that. Now, this basically is in a nutshell what closing costs are, but do not allow closing costs to overwhelm you or bring you surprises. It's important to understand what it is so that you take control of your home buying journey. But the best part is you can always get in touch with me and I will make your home buying process a lot fun.